Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Sunday, June 25th. And today we are airing another teaser episode of our interview with Abby Davison. Abby is the author of Money and Love, an Intelligent Roadmap for Life's Biggest Decisions. And in this part of the interview, Abby talks about that if you're going to do a reset, it really doesn't have to be black or white. She also highlights some of the pressures that we put on ourselves to make something an optimum choice. Optimum is not one of those words I really like very much, and I think Abby agrees. Here is part 2 of our episode with Abby Davison. Again, if you want to hear and see the full interview, you can just join Jill on Money Live. That is where you have access to great special bonus content like this interview with Abby Davison. Otherwise, just take a listen and things go right on back to normal. We'll answer your financial questions when we talk to you again tomorrow. So here's part 2 of our interview with Abby Davison. In my book, one of the things that I try to stress is that if you're going to do some big reset in your life, you don't have to make it black or white, that there are a lot of different choices. I think sometimes we just put in a due amount of pressure on ourselves to be able to get to the optimum choice. Like, I have to be the most productive and I can work at, 10,000 million hours and I'll be the best and I'll be that. But like, there is life that comes in between. I'm wondering how you believe the pandemic and that experience, what came out of that for you as you were thinking about the book, which was probably, you must have written it just in the middle of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, we signed our contract in the fall of 2020. So we wrote it, in the thick of it. No, it's such a good question. And I think the pandemic, because it stripped away so much of the busyness for some people, right? If you were an essential worker, it did not strip that busyness away. But for many of us who had office jobs we were commuting to, it took away the commute. It took away, sort of the whole time that we didn't have to think. We were just on autopilot. And it did cause us to look straight in the face of the choices we had made and say, are these choices still the ones that make sense for me? And so we did a survey to hundreds of people, and the number one thing that everyone wanted to talk about was where to live and when to move, because that choice was, no matter where you were locked down in the pandemic, it wasn't big enough, it wasn't necessarily near the people you wanted to be. And so I absolutely think the pandemic was an accelerator for people to look at their lives and say, is this the life that I want to be living? Because we were all so aware of our mortality and the fact that we don't have infinite time.
And also the idea that you think that you're living a life that is siloed. We had a pandemic that broke down that silo pretty quickly, so that, my dogs were on network television a number of times, and many people's children's were on important Zooms and with legal clients that were extremely important. And you know what? The world didn't fall apart. Having that part of our lives shared or integrated in the other parts of our lives did not blow up anything. And I think that was a great lesson also, which is, hey, maybe I can be a little bit more porous with the way I manage my life.
Absolutely. It blew the conventional wisdom out of the water, because you can't compartmentalize your identities when you are one person trying to do many things in a single space at one time. And so, one of the things that it clarified for me, because at the same time as I was writing the book and working a full-time job, and my kids were zooming into remote kindergarten and second grade.
I'm exhausted.
Just to paint a picture, I don't recommend this recipe. But my mom actually was entering hospice and ultimately passed away. And so that clarified for me this idea of our time is short. If there is something that is calling me, which the book really was, that I should dedicate more than just my nights and weekends and occasional days off to it. And so I did take a big leap about a year ago and left my corporate job and have been focused on how to get tools related to money and love out into the world to people who can use them to help make more intentional choices.
If you have a financial question, if you're trying to juggle some different priorities and you need some help, just go to the website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button. We will help you out. And of course, if you have a topic that you would like us to cover for the Jill on Money live webinars, just do leave us a message. Again, contact us and let us know if you have some ideas. We're really looking to hear from you about this. Don't forget to leave us a rating and review on Apple and do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.